Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for hanging out with me again today. Today is just going to be a talking head video, updates on some things. Don't have anything newly built, but I'm going to go over kind of everything I've been working on. So I was able to get the stance on the TC01 Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR much better. So now it looks more like a race car and less like a rally spec car. So I will go over what I did to this in the video when we run it, but I was able to get the rear end secured and stabilized, so that's done. A lot of folks chimed in on the video I put out with this on Thursday evening. If you guys didn't see it, I'll sum it up real quick. Basically, this thing needs a motor fan. So on the 2-in-1 ESC, there's port number 1, which is your steering, and then port number 2 and 3 are empty, and channel 2 is actually integral to the 2-in-1 ESC, so your motor just basically plugs right into the ESC. So there is no, quote, channel 2 on this one. It's basically your steering, and then there's 2 empty slots in there. I've done it a million times. You know, empty slot in a receiver, you've got 6 volts power. You just plug the fan into it, and then when you turn it on, the fan kicks on, and when you turn it off, the fan stops. This one, yeah, it doesn't do that. So I did it in the second slot and the third slot, tested it, had 6 volts, and was just scratching my head. Thankfully, some people said, hey, test it with some LEDs to see if it's actually putting out, you know, a strong 6 volts. And it's not. I put in a strip of LED strip lights meant for RC cars, and they lit up, but they were less than half as bright as they were supposed to be. Probably way less than half, but at least half as bright as what they were supposed to be. So it's not a voltage issue, it's an amperage issue. So I had contacted Team Corrali support, and they replied back rather quickly. It was overnight. And basically what they said is these other 2 ports in there are not designed to be usable outputs. Why they're there, who knows? But so basically, if you need to run anything external, you have to run an external BEC, which really kind of sucks because this truck needs a cooling fan. You know, with the 2500 milliamp battery that comes with, the motor was too hot to leave your finger on. So if you put a 5000 or, you know, whatever shorty pack in here, you're going to cook the brush motor in here if you're running it around, bashing it, and having a good time with it. You know, I guess if you're turning, you know, gentle laps on a track, you might get away with it. But the motor gets entirely too hot to not have a fan on it for me. So basically, I solved the problem by putting a Y jumper into channel 1. So now the servo and the fan are both being powered off channel 1. How long it's going to last, I have zero idea. Not recommended, and I'm going to push it till it melts, and then we'll stick something else in here. You know, I could go ahead and stick a 1060 in here with a radio link receiver and solve all my problems. Except for I've used up a 1060 ESC and a radio link receiver for something that should be able to power a motor. So more than likely, when they ordered that 2-in-1 unit from wherever they got it made from, there was probably an option there to have all 3 of those ports active and usable. But since they only needed 2 channels for this, and channel 2 is integral circuitry, they just said, you know, we don't need those other 2 channels, and probably saved, you know, $2, $5 per ESC by doing that. Unfortunately, by doing that, you've now passed on a problem to the customer, and, you know, it would have made more sense to tack on $5 to the price of the car, you know, instead of, you know, $180, $185, not that big of a difference. You know, eat the overhead of, you know, any profit you make off of that $5. Just charge me for whatever enabling those ports are, and it would have been a better experience. Sure, people would have still been like, it's brushed, I don't want that. But for folks like me who were like, it's pretty fun, brushed, it just needs cooling. But I can't do it effectively through this. You know, this thing may run for the next 6 years just like it is. It may run for 6 minutes and melt out channel 1 on the thing, and I won't be able to run it anymore until I upgrade it. If I upgrade it, it's going brushless, but still, overall, still a fun truck, and I'm sure you could run it for a good while before you really start to damage the motor. But I don't like running my stuff to, the edge of existence when I don't have to. If I put a cooling fan on there, I could run it nonstop, battery after battery, and it would be just fine. If you go back to the video, I have their official statement pinned to the top comment of that. And one of the channel friends, Mike, reached out to them, and he got the exact same response. So that is evidently their official response of why those other two channels are non-existent. Other question I have gotten a bunch is Pool Boys Speedrun Challenge this year. I am still on the fence. I do not know if I'm going to compete this year. I may make a run at the beginning of the month to help promote it, but I don't know if I'm actually going to be competing, if that makes any sense. So it's not that I don't want to. It's I don't want to. And I'll explain, because that doesn't make any sense. After last year's speed run, I had a good time. It was fun trying to get a grasshopper to go fast. And I was also doing the run to 100 for Paul and Mike's channels. And both of them were fun, and I had reasonable success in both. I don't remember what I got. If I remember, I'll put them down here. If not, the videos are on the channel. I was kind of like meh through both of them. I wasn't terribly excited about either one. I competed. I enjoyed the runs, most of it. But it's just one of those things. This year, when he announced the chassis, I was like, yeah, ORB, that's going to be a pain in the ass to keep on its tires and not destroy it. And I have a couple. I have this, I have the Frog, I have the Blackfoot. I really don't want to destroy any of those three. The only other one I have is I do have the Mud Blaster, not the Mud Blaster, the Brat, but I haven't built that yet. And I really don't want to build it just for the speed run. I also don't want to spend the money to beef it up to make it go fast. The money part is negligible. Sure, I could, drop $200 and get another Frog kit if I can find one. It seems like everybody wants to play this year, so kits have become hard to find, which is cool. I'm really glad so many people are looking forward to it and so many people are joining in. It just, for me, the speedrun part is just, I've done it 5 years in a row, or let's say we had CW01, TT02, MF01X, and the Grasshopper. So I've done it 4 years in a row and finished no better than middle of the pack, basically, which, my chances of winning are slim to none. So I'm not terribly interested in the winning part, but to spend that much money to fall in the middle of the pack and all the time and effort that it takes to put into it, just not terribly thrilled about it. I do have a Lexan shell I can put on this one. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I've got till the end of the month to figure it out and, do something. But at this point, I am kind of wishy-washy at best on if I am joining in. Like I said, I may make a tribute run at the beginning of the month, slap the speed meter on here and see what it goes, bone stock, and, try to help promote it. But at this point, running, I don't necessarily see me doing it. But we'll see. It's 60-40. Last update is Hobby King has sent over another battery, which I'll be running this soon. This is their Rapid 5.0. This is a 5,000 milliamp 3S 100C pack. So I got to get this out for a run. I'm not sure what I'm going to run it in yet. Probably one of the Bashers. I just don't know which one. But I do need to get this out. Got it thinking, get over to Al's and do some racing on the track. But he was on vacation, and we have not gotten the track back up to a runnable state yet. So as soon as that's ready, I'll definitely be over there running some cars around over at Al's. But I do need to get a review on this, so that should be next week. I'll try to get this run this weekend in something 3S capable, and get out there and jump it around, enjoy myself, and see how the battery goes. So stay tuned for that. Another goal I have this weekend is to get the Sand Scorcher body painted and get that back on track. And yeah, so that's where we're at. Lots of stuff going on. I've got lots of other stuff going on. One of those things, and I hope everybody stayed to the end of the video, but one of the things is I am currently working on a real full-size pickup truck months and months and months ago. Spent some time working on it and got to a point to where I was a little tiny bit overwhelmed. And then all the fall chores, leaves and all that stuff took precedence. And then the winter months came, and I kind of just sat out there. But I've kind of got to the point to where it's like I need to get that thing going and get back on track with it, make some progress, and get it into a drivable state, or if I need my garage for something else, I can drive it out, work on whatever else I need to do, and then pull it back in, because right now it is undrivable. Why I'm speaking about this is I intended on starting another channel specifically for that truck. I did not want to kind of muddy the waters over here and mix in truck content with RC content. I try my best to keep everything RC related on here. The one or two random things that pop up, the painting video and stuff like that. That's just because I spoke to people about it and they wanted to see it. So I said, what the hell, I'll make a video on it. So my question to you guys is, would you guys be interested in seeing those videos? So I have a couple options. Option number one is just making the videos and releasing them to the members, but that rules out a lot of people. I don't want you guys to have to pay for content. I'm rewarding the members with extra content if they're willing to help support the channel, but it's not a pay-to-play thing. That one I didn't really like. Second one is I can go ahead and upload the videos to the other channel and give you guys the links here, and we'll talk about it if I do that. Here's the links to the other channel. Go subscribe and check out the truck, blah, 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 all that stuff. Third option is go ahead and just stick them on here, and, randomly once a month, you guys will get a truck video. Personally, if I'm going to do it, I kind of feel like I might as well go ahead and do the other channel and keep this fully RC related. I don't know. Like I said, I had big plans, and then we kind of hit a wall with the truck, and I stopped doing stuff on it. And now I'm trying to fight myself over that wall and keep going. So now it's like, all right, I've got video footage. I'm going to keep making video footage. And the reason for that is I want those videos for at least me. I want to be able to track that and see the progress. And if people see the truck, I can say, hey, go check out, the channel, this channel, blah, blah, blah. All the videos of how crappy it was when it started to how not so crappy it is now. And for you guys, I am not a body guy. Reasonable mechanic. I've been able to do auto repairs on my cars for the last 30 years. I worked as a mechanic right outside of high school. I worked at auto parts stores. So I know my way around a car, especially old ones that aren't computer driven. I enjoy watching videos on stuff. Basically, this truck is Derek Bierry's fault. Vice Grip Garage. He's the one that basically convinced me, just get out there, buy that old piece of junk truck and fix her up and drive around best you can. It's like, yeah, thanks, Derek. And you'll see some Derek mannerisms, I guess, or sayings throughout some of the videos. I absolutely enjoy the hell out of watching him. But there's a whole bunch of other channels I watch. Make It Custom. I'll put links in the description to some of the channels I watch. But some of the guys are really, really knowledgeable, and some are teaching channels. Some are just, here's this pile of crap, we're gonna get it running today video, and then there's everything in between. So I'll try to put some down in the description for you guys if you're interested. But it's not going to be that quality content. You know, it's just going to be me out there cussing and fussing at the truck and, you know, explaining what I'm going to do and then coming back and re-explaining what I'm going to do now because that wasn't the way I was going to, should have done it. So we're doing it now this way. There's a lot of that because, again, I don't know necessarily what the hell I'm doing. So put it down into the comments what you guys think. I appreciate you guys staying to the end, watching all this stuff and helping me out, try to make this decision. It's extra work for me regardless, recording the videos and editing the videos, but if I'm recording the footage, I might as well edit to make it somewhat watchable and enjoyable to watch. So I might as well publish them, I guess. So we'll see. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Everybody else, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you guys later. See you.